Okay, we're going to talk about Edmodo and its usefulness for teachers and instructional technologists. And it's a program that's online that you can use to basically set up assignments and calendars and other tools that your students can follow. So here's where you sign in, but if you haven't signed in yet, you can choose which profile you're going to use. So if you're a student, you'd obviously click here. I'm a teacher, so I would fill in this information. It's going to ask for a username and password, and it will also confirm whether those are available or not. And so just fill in this information and hit sign up. I, however, already have an account, so I'm going to go ahead and sign in with my account right now. Okay, once you are logged in, you're going to see this page, and I'm going to explain some of the things you're seeing here. First of all, at the top, you can create new items like notes, alerts, assignments, quizzes, and polls. I've already created an assignment and a poll, and I'm going to show you those in a moment, but I'm just going to create an assignment for you so that you can see how it's done. If you click on the assignment, then you can click here and choose an assignment title. So let's say we're going to choose computer usage. Oops. And then you down here will describe what the assignment is. And so perhaps you would say visit the site www.newegg.com and find 3 pieces of hardware. So you would describe what the assignment entails. And then here you can put in the due date. When you click in here, you can automatically choose from the calendar here. And so let's just go ahead and choose a due date. I'll choose the 30th of November for this to be due. And then the most important thing is to assign it to some group. I'm going to talk about groups in just a moment, but you do need to assign or create a group before you can create assignments, quizzes, polls, and whatnot. So I already have a group, and it's called Instructional Technology. So as soon as I start typing, it's going to automatically populate a list of possibilities. And the more you put in, the more it narrows it down. So I've got Instructional Technology right here, and I'm going to choose that as the group that I want to have this assignment belong to. And you can also attach a file or a link or something from your library, which we'll talk about in just a moment as well. File, if you had some sort of tutorial file, or maybe you have a photo or some sort of soundbite that you want to include that will help or assist the assignment completion, and then a link to a website or whatnot. So I'm going to go ahead and hit send, and this is actually going to make it so that the assignment is completed. So I'll hit send, and you're actually going to see this show up right here, computer usage, and it says turned in 0. That means nobody in my group has turned it in. It gives me the due date, and it gives me the description of how to complete the assignment. Now, in order for you to create assignments, we do need to create a group, so I'm going to explain that right now. Your groups are over here on the left, and I already have one here called Instructional Technology. So I can join a new group, or I can create a new group. I can join a group that already exists, or I can create a brand new group. So I'm going to click the create a group, and here you can type in any group name whatsoever. So when you create your group name, this essentially is your class name. So if you teach 3 or 4 different classes, then this is going to identify which class that is. And so you can type your class name in here, and then you can select the grade. So let's say you teach 10th grade for this class, and then the subject area. So let's say you create language arts class, and then you can specifically choose what type of language arts class that you're teaching. And then when you hit create, it's going to give you your class name, which I have right here, and it's also going to give you a code, which it's very important that you write this down, copy and paste it into a text file so that you have it, because you will need this code to give to your students so that they can join your group once you've created your assignments and whatnot. So I'm going to close this, and look at right here, we've got class name, which is our new class that we made, and we've got my old group here called Instructional Technology. So now when I create new assignments or quizzes or whatever, then I can assign it to a specific group. And so it's very handy that you have all of your classes here, and you can edit parts of the class over here, but you can create assignments no matter what class you're in at the moment, and you can automatically just send them to whatever group that you're going to be using it with. So I have a poll and I have 2 assignments. The poll is right down here. Poll is different from an assignment because basically what you're doing is asking a question and then having the students choose by voting which one they feel is the best answer. But this isn't actually going to show up on our calendar. Our assignments, however, will. Let's take a look at the calendar right now. Go ahead and click up here at calendar, and you're going to see the month of November has 2 things here. Social networking and education is due on the 16th, and then computer usage, which is the assignment we just created, is due on the 30th. So this is very nice for students. They can be able to see all the things that are due for their specific class. Under grades, if we choose for our instructional technology class, we see that we do have 1 student enrolled, and we see that they haven't done any of the assignments, so we won't see any grades for them. But as they do the assignments, you're going to be able to see what percentage of their grade is available. Under library, you can add library from files in your computer or Google Docs, which are really nice because then you can create things that students will be able to edit across. Like they'll be able to basically update the file, have multiple people update and view it simultaneously. And so if you wanted to add a library item, then this would be where you would go. And then also if you go over here to account and go to settings, you can choose a lot of things about your account. You can choose a picture to represent who you are. They have a whole bunch of default ones set in here that you can choose from. You can also choose from a file, so if you want to take a physical picture of yourself or just choose some sort of image that you don't find in the library here, that's where you can go. Very important over here, your notifications. You can be notified either by email or by text message about alerts, notes, directed messages, connection requests. All sorts of things can be sent to your notification either by email or text message. Now, email is only going to show up if you have specified an email address. An email address is not required when you create your profile, so it's only going to be available if you do have an email address. Otherwise, you're going to have to choose text message. But a very handy tool to remind you of when things are coming up and due for the class. And so this is where you can go in for that. I'm going to go ahead and go to account again and log out. And I'm going to log in as one of my students so that you can see what the student, what it would look like if you were a student. So let's sign in here. And you can see here that now we have 1 assignment due in our notifications. And if we scroll down here, you can see that our poll now has radio buttons that you can choose which of your, like so let's say we want to do observer and vote. We have now voted for observer, and observer has 100% of the votes because it only has 1 vote for it. And so this is where the student will log in and find out what their assignment is, and then they would be able to complete their assignment by reading how it's due and how it's done. If you want to do one of your assignments, like computer usage for example, you can either click reply here, or we can come up here to 1 assignment due and click on that. And it'll bring us to whatever the assignment is that we need to do by November 16th. And so I can click right here to turn it in. And I can type my response. Now obviously I would want to read the instructions on how to do this, but I'm just going to type a response just so that we can see what would happen. So I'll turn in the assignment. And it has now been submitted. So if I go back to my home and scroll down to that assignment, it says it's turned in and it's waiting to be graded. So I'm just waiting for the instructor to give me a grade on whatever I've done. Over here on the right, we have a parent code, and it's OVLJQN. And so if you have this code and give it to a parent, then the parents can view whatever the student is doing. They obviously can't do the work, and click on submit for assignments, but they can check up and see how the student is doing on their different assignments.